It says, shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Anytime you find prophets asking questions, you need to be very careful, because the duty of a prophet is to proclaim the counsel of God in simple, plain language without ambiguity. In fact, the nature of the delivery of a prophet doesn't accommodate him speaking in parables, because clarity is of essence for everyone to understand the mind of God. Even the tenses, the words, the deliverables should be so clear for everybody to understand God's counsel. So when you find a prophet asking a question, there is a depth. It means the matter that is about to be discussed is not the ordinary matters. There is a matter that is in view that we need to take our time and pay attention in order for us to be able to grasp. What is the question here today? Shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Now, when this question was asked, the prophet was aware of the fact that you will not understand the question. So what he did was that he rendered the same question in another way that afforded us the possibility of understanding. So one question asked two ways. First rendering, shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Then when I have or, because he knows we will not understand it, shall the lawful captive be delivered? So you see, the reason why that entity was called mighty was not because of brute strength. The reason why that entity was called mighty was because the bondage that he throws his victims into is legal in nature. So the first destruction is what we call legal bondages. See, oh my God. Are you with me? Please stay with me. The spirit realm, the unseen realm, has 9 characteristics. 9. Witches are not the ones that created the spirit realm, just like human beings did not create the natural realm. But when human beings discovered that there is something called the law of gravity, when human beings discovered that there is something called the law of lift, they were able to measure the acceleration due to gravity and to peg it at a figure. And then they developed engines, jet engines, that have the capacity to overcome gravity. So that for those because of those jet engines, gravity is more or less non-existent, because they have overpowered it. Now they have entered into the economy of the law of lift, and that's why we can fly planes. I hope you realize that flying planes is not witchcraft. They just took advantage of existing possibilities in the realm, and they use it to advance their lives. So in the realm of the spirit, there are also laws. And unfortunately, I weep saying this, witches seem to have explored these laws much more than believers. Meanwhile, witches did not create the laws. They just discovered them. There are 9 such laws in the realm of the spirit. Are you there? And it will interest you to know that salvation was procured on the strength of one of those laws. The principle that was used as a means of procuring our salvation was a spiritual law that was obtainable in the realm of the spirit, which is what we call the law of substitution. It was you and me that sinned, but it was Jesus that died. And through faith, the things he procured through his death is applicable to us because of the law of substitution. There are many laws in that realm. You are not with me? Okay, the law of substitution. We were the ones that sinned. The penalty was death. Jesus came to satisfy the claims of divine justice. And when he satisfied the claims of divine justice, unfortunately for the devil, he was not guilty of the crime. So the price he paid has a value that is locked in the realm of the spirit. And anyone that believes in Jesus, he's credited that value that his sacrifice created in the realm of the spirit. So exchange has taken place. It is logically calculated that the damnation that was your portion has been paid for. So what is left for you is the life. The life he had becomes your portion. So he died in your place so that you can have access to the economy of everlasting life, which was a property that was in his possession before he died. That is possible because of the law of substitution. You are not with me? So you must have heard among witches that an old witch wants to die, and then that old witch now gets someone to die in his or her place. So substitution is a possibility in the realm of the spirit. The witches did not create it. But what I'm saying is that we are not using the law. So okay, is it God's fault that we are not using? As astronauts explore space, that's how we are called to explore God. But in this day when Christians, the fire on Christians are burning low, they're just there. Canada is good, it's cold, and that's why we are like this. And Satan has stepped into a lot of homes. He has already mortgaged the destiny of the children of those homes. The parents that are Christians don't know how to move the hand of God. They are just accepting it as part of the it's not God's fault. If you don't rise up, nothing will change. So there are laws. There are laws that we are supposed to take advantage. In fact, in order for you to... Are you there? So let me tell you another one before I go back to my message. There is what we call the law of sacrifice. You may not know, but the greatest legal statement that was ever made was not in our courts. It was Calvary. It's a legal statement. And the potential of that sacrifice that was made is inexhaustible, because death can produce life. That's the law of sacrifice. So if you want to have a ministry of life, you want to have a ministry of life, so that the merchandise that you'll be giving off through your ministry is life. People encounter your ministry, they touch the life of God. If you want a ministry of life, Apostle Paul gives us some insight. He says, so death walketh in us, so that life will walk in you. That's the law of sacrifice. Oh, someone that is not willing to sacrifice by fasting, sacrifice by prayer, sacrifice by night prayers, sacrifice by long prayers, sacrifice by intermittent prayers, don't expect life. Because anytime life is made manifest, it is because something was sacrificed. You want life? Jesus sacrificed himself, and the effect of that sacrifice is that we have access to his life. If you want to have the ministry of life, you are going to accept a life of sacrifice. That is the only way. You know, hallelujah. Do you know a church can be a dead church? A minister can be a dead minister. And most times, if there's enough finances to pay the bills, you don't know that you have died. So in order for God to help you, he needs to allow something terrible happen that will wake you up from your slump. Wherefore he said, awake, O thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. It takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice. If I tell you the number of hours I prayed yesterday, you will not believe. You think I'm lying. But even after those number of hours, I couldn't preach, because my master was dishonored. You can't do that in a mosque. can't do it in the mosque. You can't do that in a shrine where Satan's name is revered. But everything goes in the house. Not where I am. I will go. I will leave you. I revere him, because I will not be alive today if he did not choose. I'm not talking about spiritual life physically. I would not be alive today if he did not choose, by an act of his will, this one should live. So I chose to worship him intimately, and I will defend his name till the day I die. So when I see people that don't, I will walk away. You don't even understand. No need to explain to you. Let me show you something quickly. The spirit realm is legalistic. So if I take you to the book of Revelation, you are going to see that Satan is identified as an accuser. Are you there? Satan is identified as an accuser because the layout, an aspect of the layout of the spirit realm, is legal in nature. In the book of Genesis chapter 4, beginning from verse 8, where Cain killed Abel. After Cain killed Abel, according to human laws, there are only two types of witnesses that we have in the court of law, and that's the eyewitness and the expert witness. The expert witness is a doctor that has a specialty in internal medicine, that can come up with an autopsy report about the circumstances resulting to somebody's death. And even though the doctor was not there, his report can affect justice. So there are two kinds of witnesses. And Cain knew those two witnesses were not present when he killed his brother. And then he was summoned to the court of heaven. And I don't have time to press that matter. You might ask me, how was he summoned? It is written in the Bible. It was the blood of his brother that he killed that was responsible for the summon. He cried into the court of heaven, seeking justice. So the court of heaven decided to sit on the matter. And they gave Cain a moment to address the court under the instruction of cross-examination. Are you there? And the question was, where is Abel, your brother? I'm just showing you that realm you call the spirit realm is legalistic in nature. There's law there. There's order there. And the reason why I'm showing you that there's law in the spirit realm is because even though Cain was ignorant of the legal system there, he was still judged by the legal system there. Someone here might claim, I'm just a rolling stone. I don't believe anything. Too late. Cain was a rolling stone too. But he was subject to the influence of the court of heaven. And the verdict that came from that court, even though he doesn't believe the court, he became a victim. He became a culprit of the verdict that came from that court of heaven. That was how he was assigned a vagabond and a fugitive. That means there is no nation, no soil under heaven that was mandated to support his destiny. So he will move from one place to the other, thinking maybe he will find green pastures, and no pasture will be green because of the legal implication that resulted from court. Are you there? So the first description of how the realm of the spirit is that it is legal. Even witches that understand the realm very well, if they want to kill people and they see the consequences according to the justice of the realm, they might hold back that assault because of the consequences it will create. Because the realm is legal, there are bondages that men can have, like Cain, that are legal bondages. That's what I'm showing you now. It's the first kind of destruction. And the terrible thing about this bondage is that it doesn't show on the face. After Cain was convicted as a fugitive and a vagabond to wander the earth, and that anyone that a mark was placed on Cain by God, so that when anybody sees him, they will not kill him. That means he should live long as a vagabond. He judged him with long life. I know. Have you seen somebody that has lived so long that is a curse? He said, so he was judged with long life to traverse the earth without support. That anyone that kills him will be, his own judgment will be higher. And then a young lady will see this guy that has that legal consequence upon his head and say, I love you. I love you. Why? Because it's not written on the head. He will even threaten that I'm no longer a member of this family because I need to follow this guy. But there's a curse that is written over him in the realm of the spirit. It's a legal situation. And you leave Cameroon and come with that guy to Canada. Oh, maybe I wouldn't have chosen Cameroon. Let's choose another. May the Lord give us understanding. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty? He knows you will not understand that. Then he now asks the question again. He says, shall the lawful captive be delivered? Shall the captive that is brought into captivity lawfully be delivered? Notice that no human being could answer this question. It was God himself that had to come answer the question. Do you still remember when God asked Ezekiel a question? Son of man, can these bones live again? And the guy calculated, he looked around, then he threw the question back to God. That was the same thing that happened here. After the question was asked, there was no mortal that had the capacity to answer. And then the question had to go back to God. It was God that now answered and said, thus saith the Lord. Even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered.